I've been told by a few people in offline conversations that I come across as angry when I post online lately, and I wanted to take a moment to address that. Spoiler alert, yes, I am angry. Stay tuned to find out why. Also, I don't normally do this kind of thing, so I wrote all of this down to make sure I wouldn't forget anything I really want to say, so if I come across as a bit awkward, I hope you can overlook it. I need to start with a bit of background. As a Christian, I was raised to value love, compassion, and grace. The Bible tells us that we should emulate Jesus, and that when we do, our lives will reflect God by showing love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When I was growing up, I was taught that all good Christians support the Republican Party, because the Republican Party aligns with these Christian values. Republicans are good, Democrats are evil. This was not subtextual or implied, it was explicit. Democrats were regularly referred to as Democrats, and it was clearly and unironically stated that Democrats are evil people in league with Satan, who hate God and hate America. But Republicans are good and righteous and support all the good things we believe in as Christians. However, as I became an adult and learned to apply basic levels of critical thinking and observation to the world, the holes in this set of beliefs began to quickly form. It became abundantly clear that Republican values absolutely do not reflect the values of Jesus. Jesus told us to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us. Republicans regularly demonize and insult their enemies. Jesus said that those who are part of his kingdom will feed the hungry, clothe the needy, and care for the sick. Republicans consistently cut programs that provide food and health care for those who can't afford it. Jesus consistently and frequently spoke out against hoarding wealth. He instructed the rich man to give all his possessions to the poor. He told his disciples it would be very difficult for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. Republicans idolize the rich. They give massive tax breaks and benefits to some of the wealthiest people on the planet. Jesus taught us to turn the other cheek. He told us to be peacemakers. He reprimanded Peter for resorting to violence, in self-defense even, saying that all those who take a hold of the sword will die by the sword. Republicans fetishize guns. They treat their interpretation of the Second Amendment as if it's literal gospel, and they vehemently resist any attempt to limit the availability of any type of firearm. Jesus commanded us to love our neighbors. He didn't add conditions to it. He didn't say, love your neighbors as long as they're in the country legally, or love your neighbors as long as they have the right sexuality, or love your neighbors as long as they're working hard to support their family. Just love your neighbors. It's obvious to anyone who bothers to pay attention that many of the core principles and actions of the Republican Party stand in stark opposition to the teachings of Jesus. And yet, so many people that I know continue to believe Republicans good, Democrats bad. Based on that belief, they defend the indefensible. Instead of calling out blatant racism coming from Republican pundits and leaders, they come up with tortured explanations of how, well, that's not really what they meant, or they excuse it as just joking around. Instead of speaking up when ICE drags women and children from their homes in the middle of the night, they justify it and support it. Instead of speaking truth in the face of lie after lie after lie spouting from Trump and his cronies, they resort to whataboutism. Speaking of whataboutism, before you run to the comments with a "but the Democrats" retort of some kind, let me be clear. Democrats are not the party of Jesus either. I'm calling out Republicans specifically here because they're the ones many Christians unconditionally support, despite the fact that they're using the power they currently have with control of every branch of the government to commit vile, heinous acts on a daily basis. There is no such thing as a political party of Jesus. Political parties have worldly motivations and goals. As followers of Jesus, we're called to be in the world, but not of it. Our allegiance should be to Jesus, not to any political party. But far too many of my Christian brothers and sisters have made it crystal clear through their actions that their true allegiance is not to Jesus, but to the Republican Party and Donald Trump. Instead of standing up against evil, they're justifying and excusing it. When will you stop and think, hey, maybe these aren't people that I should be supporting as a follower of Jesus? Will it be when they cancel medical aid to the world's poorest countries, leading to the deaths of millions of vulnerable people from preventable diseases? How about when they murder people on the high seas who are neither members of any military nor have been proven guilty of any crime? How about when over 100 US citizens have been arrested and held by ICE because they don't look American enough? Or when the Attorney General and the Speaker of the House do everything they can to protect powerful pedophiles by preventing the release of evidence that would prove the evil deeds that they've done to children? Or when 20 and 30-something-year-old party leaders participate in a group chat calling for their political opponents to be sent to the gas chambers, using racist slurs and literally praising Hitler. Then, instead of condemning it, the vice president downplays it and excuses it. Or maybe when the president posts an AI video of himself piloting a jet that dumps poop on American citizens exercising their First Amendment rights. Where is the line? Is there even a line? Genuinely, how do you, as a follower of Jesus, justify supporting any of this? It's evil, and Christians should be the loudest voices in the room condemning it, but instead, you're supporting it. So yeah, I am angry. I'm angry and I'm sad that more of you aren't. I'm angry that people who I love and respect have forsaken their values in service of a worldly political party. Christians who voted for Donald Trump should be deeply ashamed at the evil being done daily in their name. But at best, they're rationalizing and dismissing it, and at worst, they're cheering it on. That's infuriating. Instead of justifying the clearly evil actions of people on your political team, you should be taking a stand against wickedness in all its forms and setting an example for the world through love. I'm posting this publicly, so if what I've said resonates with you, feel free to share it with whoever you like. I'll wrap this up with a direct quote from Paul in Romans 12. Abhor what is evil, cling to what is good. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good.